and welcome to this edition of India Inc. 2.0. I'm Nayantara Rai, coming to you today from Modinagar. It's an industrial town about 90 minutes away from the national capital. It's here that the famous industrialist Rai Bahadur GM Modi came to start his business empire. And I've come here to interview one of his grandsons, Abhishek Modi, part of the 3,500 crore rupee Umesh Modi group. Abhishek Modi has decided to enter the liquor business and he started a vodka brand as well as a whiskey brand. And here we are at the Modi distillery, and as promised, I'm going to interview Abhishek Modi. Thank you, Abhishek, for talking to us here on India Inc. 2.0 and inviting us to Modinagar and to your distillery. The first question I always ask everyone that I interview on the show. You guys have been born with a silver spoon. You're privileged. You could have literally done anything in the world. Why did you choose this business? Is it because you like your liquor?
Thank you first for being here, and thank you for being here at Modinagar. I do like my liquor, but this is something which I inherited from my family. I inherited from our grandfather, and the idea is to try and build on what you get. This is where my grandfather started the sugar business way back in 1933, and then we set up this distillery in 1959. And when I joined the business with my father, he asked me to look after the sugar business and try and look into the liquor business, and that's where I am.
Okay, so what Abhishek Modi is doing is and we can't show you because of the broadcasting laws, but he's manufacturing vodka as well as whiskey. So why did you choose vodka and whiskey? And you do have a tie-up, which I understand is the Modi style of functioning, always have a partner.
The business, the liquor business or the distillery was with my uncle earlier. Then in 2003, we took over the business. All the businesses we do, we generally like to tie up with a foreign company because that's the way we enter into a new business. Our thought process is we understand the Indian market and they understand that specific business. So in this example, the liquor business. So I met up with Mr. Reina, who is our partner, Ilva Sarono, this company in Milan. And they are one of the largest liqueur businesses in the world, a private company like us, family-run business. And I found that he and me had the kind of same vision. Because when we spoke, we talked about, can we enter the Indian market, the big Indian liquor business, which was at that time 300 million cases, and can we make a mark? So that's how we got started. At that time, the vodka business was just started in India, and there was still a lack of...
So they're producing Artic Vodka, incidentally. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, there was Smirnoff, which we all know, and then there was Absolute, which was imported. And we felt that there was a need for an imported quality vodka in India, made in India. A premium vodka made in India.
Okay.
And that's how Artic got created. And
But
we
that's,
launched Artic.
if I may say so, quite gutsy. You mentioned Smirnoff and Absolute. That's the world's #1 and #2 vodka brands.
Well, you have to start somewhere. So I think that's where we found an opportunity. So, because Smirnoff was made in India and it was priced at a certain level. And Absolute being imported, we found that the price gap was about 2 to 3 times. So if something was X, Smirnoff was X, Absolute was like 2X or 3X.
Okay.
And we felt there was an opportunity to create something premium and position it premium to Smirnoff.
And has it paid off?
Well, yes.
Are people guzzling your vodka?
I hope so. Yes, it's worked. I think so. It established our company. What you need to understand is the space that we entered was generally only done by MNCs, as you said, Smirnoff and Absolute. So we were the first Indian company to enter into the space. And I think so Artic helped us establish the brand, the company in the mind of the trade, in the mind of consumers. Also, you need to understand the Indian market is still a whiskey dominated market.
Yes.
So yes, while Artic got the response, we realized to make something more substantial, we needed to enter into the whiskey market. And that's when we moved into Rockford Reserve.
So what would you say is bigger today? Is it your vodka brand, which is Artic, or is it your whiskey brand, which is Rockford? And what is the positioning of Rockford?
So Rockford is bigger. As I said, the market is
Indians
much
like
larger.
their whiskey, yeah.
And so when we launched Rockford, we positioned it as the most premium Indian whiskey in the market. It took us 3 years to think about the project, design the packaging. We got our master blender from Scotland to create the the blend, because the blend is ultimately the most important thing. And again, we realized that there was again an opportunity in the Indian market to position something between the most premium Indian product at that time, Blender's Pride by Pernod in India, and all the imported scotches. And we felt the Indian consumer wanted something more international, something which looked like Scotch, but something which was their own. And I think so that was the way that Rockford Reserve was created.
But tell me something, you are from the Modi group, which may have been divided, but you have the money, is what I'm trying to get at. Why did you decide to do it organically? Was there not a temptation to maybe go out there, buy something and grow that instead of starting from scratch? Did you evaluate that ever?
When you're entering a new business, I think so you need to learn the ropes of the business. So
this is a dirty business, right?
It depends how dirty you want to make it. So luckily the place where we are, and because we compete with MNCs, it's been okay. But to get into a new business, when you buy the business, you don't learn how to create a business. You don't learn what are the requirements of a business. So in my opinion, it's easy to buy something which you have already have. So like I was in the sugar business before I got into the liquor business. So buying another sugar business makes sense because you understand the business.
But
to buy a new business which you do not understand, you don't understand how it works, I think it's something more challenging. And the fun that
did you do it besides, I know I joked about it in a lighter way, saying that you may like your liquor, but I can see a synergy because you have a sugar business. Molasses, which is the main thing that you need, is the byproduct that you're already creating. Was that the theory behind it, or you actually saw an opportunity?
So our products are not using the molasses. So basically we're using the facility where we are, Modi Distillery, to bottle the brands. And because we have the license, right? But it's not linked, so
there's no synergy in that sense.
There's no synergy in that sense, but yes, you had the license, you had the setup, you had the infrastructure, and I think so that's where the synergy came. So we used that setup, and we created this company called Modi Ilva, which is a joint venture between us and the partners, a 50-50 joint venture. And Modi Distillery, where we are, is the bottling partner. So it bottles for Modi Ilva.
And how difficult was it to create the brand? Like, what did you do? Like a brand ambassador? You did it primarily by events. How did you do it? How did you make the public aware that hey, there is a vodka between an Absolute and a Smirnoff?
So when we launched, we had for Artic we did a lot of marketing and a lot of launch. So we had a launch in all the 4 metros with big launch party. With all the the regular, in Bombay we had the Bollywoods, in Delhi we had the social, and yes, we did all that. But at the end of the day, what works is not that your product and your routes to market and your distribution strategy and how you present your product to the market. All that glam is there. So a lot of people believe that the liquor business is only about that. But unfortunately, there's a lot more behind that.
And on that note, I'm going to take a short commercial break. Stay tuned. You're watching a special edition of India Inc. 2.0. Welcome back. You're watching India Inc. 2.0. I'm Nayantara Rai. Today I've traveled to Modinagar, which is about 90 minutes away from the national capital. My guest is Abhishek Modi. He's part of the 3,500 crore rupee Umesh Modi group, which has interest in pharmaceuticals, alcohol, sugar, and of course Revlon. Abhishek, you're spearheading the alcohol business. You have no interest in joining Revlon, pharmaceuticals, engineering too?
So, I did chemical engineering, And I think it was a natural progression after the engineering to get into the sugar business. And then, you know, the sugar business has basically led me to the distillery business. And then that led me to the vodka. And so that's where I am. And happy to be here. I think there's a lot of work to do in this space. And, you know, as I was mentioning, we are a family business. So my father's there, and then I have siblings. So everybody is looking after different parts of the business.
Okay.
And this is the part which I look after.
This is your baby.
Well, yes, especially the liquor part, yes.
You know, I was noticing when we were at the bottling facility, and we can't show it to the viewers, but I saw some packaging of Grants. I would
Yes.
imagine that's William Grant Scotch, and are you in business with them now?
So we recently got into a tie-up with them where we are manufacturing for them for India. And so we were already in partnership with them in terms of buying Scotch for my brands Rockford Reserve. And then when they decided to bottle their Grants brand in India, they approached us and
You were already
that-
in business together, so why
and
not take
it
it
worked
forward?
out well. And it's a good thing because it makes our partnership strong. And it's also the first time William Grant has partnered with anyone outside Scotland. So this
Okay.
is their first partnership.
Venture outside of
Well,
Scotland.
Yes.
So while we're talking about Scotland, etc., do you have any aspirations to take any of your brands overseas, or do you think the Indian market is far too big?
Well, you know, whenever one travels, one sees that you get brands in any category, whether it's a vodka, whether it's a rum, from across the world. And I would always question, why can't we have an Indian brand which is there globally? Why can't there be an Indian whiskey which is there globally, or an Indian rum? So I definitely feel there's an opportunity for that. The world is opened up. You know, initially you used to drink wine only from France, and now you get wine from all over the world.
Yeah.
Same thing's happened with vodka. It started from Poland, and now you have vodka all the way from New Zealand.
Yeah.
So why not India? And I think so India makes very good quality products, and I would be very keen at some stage
So
to...
when do you want to do that?
So I think we are
And which markets?
So we are exploring. I think so Rockford Reserve would be where we would want to start, because that's our main brand, and we feel that has an opportunity. And maybe we'll start with nearer markets and then maybe explore. It's something we need to even talk with our partners, because they have a distribution set up across the globe, and maybe we might use that to take the
Okay.
brands international.
So tell me, you know, when you were starting out and you had this idea, what did you do? Like, I know the Modis are not very fond of debt. So did you go to banks to start this? Did you go to your father? Did you face any opposition? Tell me how it all began.
So my father's involved in this. He's the chairman of the
Yeah.
business, and we luckily used our internal accruals to try and build the brand. And yes, we don't necessarily go for debt. And also, when you're starting a new business, especially without an asset, see, a liquor business is more about branding.
Yeah.
And you're trying to create a brand. It's difficult to anyway get initial loan because there's no assets involved in the business. So we use the company's
Internal accruals?
and the partners. We have, as I said,
Had
a
your
partner.
dad's blessing from the word go?
Always,
Yeah?
yes.
And are you profitable now?
Yes, we are.
What about private equity? Are they chasing you?
Well, in the past, a couple of international companies have approached us, and they've been interested in tying up with us. But I told them we already have a partner, and because the space that we are in is unique, because there are some international companies, and there are many international companies in the past who've tried to launch their products and have not been very successful. So a couple of them have spoken to us.
So you were talking about, you know, wine from France. So I want to ask you, do you have any aspirations for wines? What about beer? Look what's happening with Bira. Tequila's pretty hot right now too.
Well, you know, the spirits business or the alcohol business has got three segments. There's a spirits business, which is like the whiskeys and the rums and the vodkas and the gin. And there is the beer business and the wine business. And they're all actually different businesses. The way to
of
market,
course.
the strategy. So I think so we are right now hands full with the spirits business, and we are launching more products, and then we maybe want to go international. So as of now, I think so spirits is where we are.
So no plans are right now, basically, from what I'm picking up, for beer or for wine.
Well, as of now, no. No, I think we are fine.
As of now, being the operative one. Okay, I'll let you go on that one. With that, we'll take a short commercial break. You're watching India Inc. 2.0. We're coming to you this weekend from Modinagar. Welcome back. You're watching India Inc. 2.0. I'm Nayantara Rai. Today, coming to you from Modinagar. I'm at the living room of the founder of the Modi Group. It's him behind me, Rai Bahadur, GM Modi, in conversation with his grandson, one of his many grandsons, Abhishek Modi. Abhishek, you know, I've noticed that you guys have decided to leave your grandfather's Haveli as is, the furniture, the room design, everything.
Absolutely. You know, there's so many memories attached with this place that it makes sense to just let it be the way it is. You know, we all grew up here. I was one of the younger ones, so I spent my first 5-6 years here, but others, many of them were teens by the time we moved to Delhi.
And you know, your grandfather had 5 sons, 6 daughters. It's very well known that, you know, Modis that were once talked about in the same breath as maybe the Birlas and the Tatas went through tumultuous time because of your grandfather's unfortunate death.
Yes.
And the group had to be divided. What were those years like?
So I was very small then, and I think so the good thing the family did is they did not let our generation get involved. But the group did get
So
divided.
you mean even when they were fighting, or your father with his brothers, the cousins were friendly?
Yeah, we all were close, and the families still tried to keep the decorum as much as possible, and definitely did not move to the next generation. So we are all close, we are all friendly with each other, and the group got divided. It was divided to 10 parts, and now everyone's doing their own thing, and everybody's found their own niche. Everybody's got their own businesses, and I think so it is what it is.
And the family's back to being close together, right?
Yes, we are close in the sense that we do celebrate together. Everybody's leading very busy lives and running their own businesses. But whenever there's a family function or a celebration, then the whole family gets together.
Oh, that's nice. Now, this city, Modinagar, was also named after your grandfather because he decided to come here and obviously he became very successful in his business endeavor.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about his journey. Have you done any research?
Well, my research is basically my father. And so, yeah, my great-grandfather...
Did you ever meet your grandfather?
Unfortunately not.
Okay.
So he passed away 1 month after I was born. My great-grandfather had a flour mill in Patiala. And then he worked with the king of Patiala, and as I think so that he was in his quarters, you know, as a finance manager or looked after the finance, and I think he decided to not be with his father, work in the family business and start his own business.
Okay.
And he came here, that time the town was called Begamabad, and started the...
Rest was history.
Yeah, started the sugar business in 1933.
So tell me something, you know, you never met him, you're 1 month old, like you said, but I'm sure there are a lot of anecdotes that are shared with your dad or the uncles, your aunts, etc. Have you learnt from his experiences? Have you learnt from his life? And what have you learnt? What would be the biggest life lesson?
I think so the biggest one is there's no shortcut to success. I mean, you have to put in the hard work and always give back to society, give back to the people. And don't think of business as ownership, but my father always says, we are all trustees.
You're all trustees?
Yeah, in the sense that you need to understand that you're not alone in charge. The people involved in the business, the people in control of the business are all part of it. People running the business, the people working in the business. So
would that mean that your being part of the business is not something you can take for guarantee? It's not given?
It never is it? You know, everybody's free to do what one wants to do but if you choose to take over a family business, it comes with its own responsibility.
No, but you have to prove your mettle.
Yes. If you have to manage a business and you have to be involved in running the business, then you need to have the right skills. So education, that's why plays a very important role.
No, but would you have it in you? Supposing you were to see that one of your offsprings, one of your children is not meant for it, would you take that tough call? And do you think your dad ever would have?
Well, I can't speak for my father, but if my son tomorrow does not want to be in the business and...
No, but if you think that he doesn't deserve to be in the business, I'm asking a different question. Because that's what you're trying to get at, right?
Well, See, owning a business and managing a business are two different things. So you can always own the business. That's something you can inherit if the inheritance happens in that way. But that doesn't mean you need to manage the business. The business should be managed by someone who can manage the business. Whether it's within a family member or it's a professional is a different thing. You know that.
Would you say another big lesson maybe has been to always plan succession?
Well, I'm too young to think about that, but yes, I think it was unfortunate because my grandfather was not well, and it all happened all suddenly. But I think today people are smarter and they do realize that one can't just leave things to be the way it is. And I think people are planning. Even today, the times are very different from then. You know,
Yeah.
today, there's so much more exposure and people know, and I think people are just more aware, and there are a
But
lot
tell
of
me,
older
are
lessons
those
to learn.
stories true that none of you take the same flight? You all go on separate
No,
flights. Are
we-
those stories true?
No, we don't. In our family, we don't have those things. We are happy to fly together.
Huh.
And but I hear that happens in many families.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. You know,
Yeah.
we fly together. We.
And like I said, I was saying it earlier, the Modis were spoken in the same breath as the Birlas and the Tatas, and now there is obviously a gap between these industrial houses and yourself. Would you say it's because of the split?
Majorly, because I think when you're together, there was a strength in the group, and then when everyone it got divided, then everyone had to almost start again, and many people were not given their right due, and then there were issues with institutions. So I think there were complications, but I think so. The families have done well to from where they were to still come here, and now everybody's got their own path. So
Yeah.
something you lose something, you gain something. And today everybody has the opportunity to
Do what they want.
do what they want. And
Like for example, you have Revlon. Allow me to make this observation. Revlon,
Yeah.
which might compete with your cousin Sameer Modi's Calabar, who is of course KK Modi's son.
well, the business is big. The cosmetic business is big, and I think so. Revlon and Calabar were not competing in the same segment. So, I
It's
mean,
fine.
and it's not that if Calabar is not there, you're not competing with anybody else.
Yeah.
So it can be.
It might as well be in-house competition, right? Is that what you're saying?
Well, yes, maybe, why not?
If you don't go to your dad for advice, who would you go to for business advice?
In the liquor business, definitely my partners, and because they have a lot of liquor experience, and also they have been in that business for a long time. So definitely I would go to them. So
I'm going to make this my final question. Now, I've brought this out before about organic versus inorganic. When all those assets of Vijay Mallya's were available, and you do have the money in-house, did you ever consider it?
No, because when we started with the liquor business, we just had a bottling plant which
Yeah.
was linked to the sugar factory. We didn't know that this business is going to go
And flourish.
And touch wood, it's doing well. But so we wanted to start small, and Mr. Mallya's business was very large. I mean, he at one time when I entered the business, I think he controlled about 50% of the business.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't make much sense to think about that, but also there's a lot of fun in trying to create a business than just immediately acquiring a business.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I don't think so that was a consideration.
With that, Abhishek Modi, I'm going to thank you for
Thank you
inviting
so
us to
much.
Modinagar and giving us this interview.
Pleasure is all ours.